Hi, I'm Bonnie.
And I'm Margie.
We're back for another conversation to explore some aspect of who we are and dance between talking about our thoughts and our feelings as they've gotten us here, and then allowing the magic of becoming and exploring some areas for the first time in this moment with you watching. So we just finished the follow-up interview with Daylight that you can find on YouTube. It was the second part to a conversation we started with her and a new guy in her life, Michael. And during the conversation, and this part was where she had gotten from the first conversation to now. And you said, wow, I had some insights, I had some new awarenesses during the conversation. So over to you.
Well, a couple of things came up for me. One is we were talking about where we are and where we hide in when we have an intimate relationship, or we think we're going to have one, or we have expectations
Intimate
or
being
agendas with a male for like
sexual intimacy.
Right.
Okay,
or
not
or
romantic, but not the intimacy. I mean, that's why we're using words, and I want to make sure.
Right. Wanting more than just, you're my good friend I can be real with.
Yes.
I want you as a partner, or as a romance, or
even
a flirtation. And noticing that where we shut ourselves off. And as we were talking about this, I realized it has been so long since I've been in one of those kind of relationships that I wonder, why are you even talking about this? You have no idea how you're going to be.
But when you say so long, it's really, I mean, it's been a couple of years, but you had that one experience with this guy, and then you became really real with him, and he... that's probably been 2 years now. But to me, that's, I mean, relative...
But this in the moment thing, if it's more than 2 or 3 days ago, it seems like it was forever ago.
Okay.
But the thing that I noticed with him is I was not telling the truth when things came up. And on one particular day, I'd said something about I would like a relationship with a guy where we're romantic and we're monogamous, but he lives at his house and I live at mine. And he said to me, isn't that what we're doing? And I went, no, we have no intimacy. We talk about such superficial things. This is what went on inside of me. I don't think we're in a relationship at all. We're just barely scratching the surface. But I didn't say that to him. And then I noticed the next few times we talked, I was getting more and more aggravated with him. But I believe the aggravation with him was my own not having said that.
Yeah.
And then I asked him, he had to work on Christmas, and I said, is it okay if I call you? And he goes, well, I don't know, sometimes I'm busy, sometimes I'm not. And I just went, well, I'll call you, and you choose whether you want to answer or not. And he said something else, and I found myself yelling at him. And he hung up, and we never talked again. And he's since committed suicide, which is really interesting.
Wow.
What? But what I noticed was the reason I was so aggravated with him is because I didn't correct when he said, isn't that the relationship we're in? And I realized, no, that wasn't, I didn't think we were anything other than just really dancing lightly around whether we wanted to go somewhere. And I didn't say it. And then I got so mad. But I know I was mad at him, and it just mad at me, and it came out on him.
And going somewhere could have been deeper in vulnerability. It could have been sexual or the combination.
Right.
I mean,
it could have been either or both.
Right. And you ended up with neither, because as you ventured into deeper, he couldn't go there to.
No, I don't think I think I don't believe he could go there, and I wanted to be angry at him for that, but I didn't go there. I didn't go there because I was afraid of his reaction. And the anger was at myself, not at him.
Yeah.
And then I remembered another relationship I had that I used to yell at him for, why don't you be more vulnerable? And then recognized if I wanted vulnerability, I needed to be vulnerable. And the other person would either come or they wouldn't, but I couldn't be mad at you because I want to be vulnerable, so you start it.
So what's vulnerability, though? I mean, we one of the challenges for me is we use words, and what does being vulnerable really mean?
Vulnerable to me means speaking of a discomfort I'm having in the moment. That's what vulnerable means to me, whatever the discomfort is.
That works for me. It's there's risk in vulnerability. There's risk in you seeing me and maybe not liking me. There's risk in
I think it's just seeing me and not liking me, not liking what I have to say, or perhaps I'm disagreeable because something has come up and I don't agree with it.
Or I've done something and you may decide that my having done that makes me not acceptable to you, so then I hide, and in that hiding I stop being alive and real and present. I can't.
And I realize all that goes, everything that you just said goes on for me, and the truth of the matter is every time I have exposed myself and been vulnerable, absolutely the opposite has happened.
Right.
So why I don't take that and say, it's never, you've never driven anyone away before by being really authentic and truthful and vulnerable with where you're going, unless I'm accusing them of something. But if I'm totally just owning where I am, what's going on for me, no one has ever stopped being my friend, run away, said they didn't like me, and then I believe every time, but who knows. It seems that, and then they will go share something a little deeper than that had been happening, and then they do that, and then I share something. So why aren't I willing to go there when it comes up? That fear just jumps on me and
I don't know.
yeah. So can we go to something totally different?
Sure, and I also wanted to make sure what else was an awareness.
Well, I had an awareness with our last, this part 2 with daylight.
Yes.
When we didn't seem to, we had no agenda, we didn't follow anything, we were all over the place, we were laughing, and then I started to worry, oh my God, are people going to like this? Is it going to make any sense? Are they going to think we're ridiculous?
Really?
Yeah, even though I was enjoying it so much. So, wow, that awareness just came. I was enjoying it so much, I felt like I was just being me. It felt like you guys were just being you, and I'm always worried, well, people might not like us if we're just being us. We're not being how smart we are, or what we know, or giving you all these insights into the... We are so funny.
We are. And the vulnerability in being embarrassed, the vulnerability of sharing shame or guilt, or even the vulnerability of sharing blame. And I don't think I've ever said that before. Am I vulnerable in sharing blame? And I think I am, because between you and me, I don't even know if it's that I don't. It's like with you, with speed, with daylight, I can't even say I don't feel vulnerable. It's that doesn't hold me back at all. So I'm not even aware of it coming up. I don't know. It's like really, I like I said with Daylight and you here, I know that you guys love me so much that I'm going into the interaction knowing even if there's a moment of tension or fear that we both know that there are gifts.
Well, I think what comes up is in our interactions, I know no matter what happens, no matter if you get mad at me or I get mad at you, or we have a disagreement over something, I know at the end you're still going to be my friend and you're still going to love me.
Right. And yes.
But I also have to own every once in a while I'm not truthful with an upset with you. I will go to, okay, sometimes I think you talk more than me, and why aren't you giving me my turn?
Well, I have that same thing happen with you.
But then
I do. It's like, Margie, you have to run now because you've gotten where you're going, and you said you jumped right into your conversation and didn't say, how are you even?
Isn't this interesting?
And it's same with road trip. It's like, I'd love to go on a road trip, but I don't know that you could be quiet for 5 minutes. Because you really like to talk, and I really like to talk, and still it's like, there are moments of the balance, and so this is really funny.
Okay, now I don't feel like it that you talk too much in our regular conversation. I feel like I may dominate them more. But in our filmed conversations, I feel like you dominate.
And that's that's really funny because my awareness of me in our conversations is I feel like I'm an interviewer and I'm asking great questions, but I don't feel any at risk or vulnerable in this moment. I don't even feel it right now. It's like I'm...
Well, now I think we're so funny.
Yes. But, yeah, you know, when we were talking with Daylight and she was saying the border crossing, the bridge crossing, and really that's active listening.
Right.
It's funny how we need new names for these things and how great that we have a buzzword for it. But I went through that with Daylight and Kevin when Daylight was my friend and Kevin's friend. And I would say something about how I felt like he was perceiving me or showing up, and she would go, funny, Kevin and I had a conversation, he was saying the same thing about you. Yeah. So there's something about, first of all, even if what triggers sadness in me is different from what triggers sadness in you, and what triggers anger in me is different from what we all experience and probably all trigger all emotions in each other, especially when we're close. Does the tension show up, and the fact that we were both withholding on the same exact topic, I think is hilarious.
But you have been saying to me lately, can I have a turn now when we're on the phone? Okay, you told me all your stuff, can I tell you mine now? And
you go, nope, I gotta go, I got where I'm going, you know? Nice timing! And I also get that when I really, really need to, and it's almost like you took your time updating me in what's in the story of your life. I've been in such a nice space that I'm not doing that, Margie, you need to listen to me.
Right.
And if I were, I know that I could say to you, Margie, I need you to be with me to work through something, and you would put your story aside because you know that's
I believe that's true.
And vice versa, if I was starting to tell you oh, I've been doing this, or if I'm even just reporting on a space I'm in, but you're in need right in this moment,
Mm-hmm.
I'm pretty confident we would drop our stories, our agendas to be with each other in the moment where we need it.
I agree with that.
How interesting that this whole series of conversations has come about because we would go so deep all the time. You would be watching a video, I would watch it, we would talk about it. In the moment, we'd have realizations. And lately, both of us have been so showing up in our lives in the moment and enjoying and finding the blessings and the joys and the ease and that we are sharing stories instead of this deep analyzing processing, because
But I don't think we're processing our lives very much anymore.
exactly.
And I think that's wonderful. I think there's a time for processing, but I also look back and realize I was also stuck in it. I was also so stuck in it that I think it kept me there for a long time.
Well, it's kind of like phases. We needed to go through that phase, and just like addiction, just like any other habit, we hold on longer than we need to, but we hold on as long as we do, which is the perfect amount of holding, because otherwise we would have let go sooner.
That's my judgment of I'm not going fast enough, and I do believe I have that all over the place still.
So, yes, that's the judgment. I don't think we get past judging. I think we recognize that we're doing it and step back from it. Because, and I've been learning that it reminds me, I'll finish the sentence. The judging could be good or bad. It's not just I judge in a negative way. Judging that something is better than something else implies that something is worse. What were we talking about recently? God, I wished I had. I don't remember, but it was the same kind of. Never mind. Over to you.
Oh, well, I was trying to figure out where you were going.
I got lost.
I don't know. Well, I did have another awareness when you were talking. I don't remember about having many centers of knowing in our body, and you were talking about like a gut feeling. And the awareness that I had for myself is when I have a gut feeling, my gut feelings are generally only warnings. Warnings that there's something I need to look at that I'm not seeing. I wanted to say danger.
Well, that works.
But that's kind of what my head thought, and I have to say, no, it's more than that. It's more, there's just something here you need to be aware of that you're not being aware of.
I had never thought of that.
But that's the only time my gut engages. Like when my heart is so open, I'm not seeing you're holding the gun, and then my gut goes, look.
Right. Wow. And there's value in that when we think we're separate and something can threaten our essence. But, this is where it gets real interesting go ahead.
I don't think it threatens our essence.
Right, exactly.
It threatens our
human
being.
And to honor that while we're in physical, this whole thing of oneness and there's the delicate balance. The slinky comes to my mind of I'm this spiritual being and there is no beginning, there is no end, and I'm the I behind my thoughts and feelings. But
I did come to be the human. I came to the human experience.
And what does that look like? What is that?
And this is what we judge. I noticed that in the conversation with the daylight. It's like everything we were talking about is still the places that we have not acceptance of how much of me is still human.
As if being human
was
is
bad.
Or
no,
wrong.
we came. God, the God self that's me, or the God that's separate from me. I don't know.
Right.
Send me here to be a human. What's the problem?
Right. And
having
judging.
to remember that.
Yes. Yes, that for me, it's that integration. I'm the creator that's creating the created, which is also what I am, and I am thinking, feeling, perceiving. I'm all of it, and it's okay.
And also, to, as you said, and I'm all of it, and recognizing that for so many years, the all of it has been right here.
Well, yes,
and
from
now I'm noticing that the all of it is here and there and here and
yeah.
Yeah.
And I love, I just so love looking at you and seeing your face light up and smiling at me.
We are moving to a nicer place, aren't we? Instead of picking things apart, it's nice to be going, oh no, I really love this being. I love this being that's put up with all my nonsense.
Yeah, and still does.
And still will.
Yes.
Because it's not going to end as long as this is still with me.
And we don't know what comes after, because...
Oh yes, we're going to turn into light, I'm sure.
Well, but what does that...
I don't know.
Right. Exactly. Well, thank you for this wonderful laughter and joy and tender conversation. Thank you all for listening and watching, and we welcome your comments. If you'd like to join us for a conversation, we now know how to do a Zoom conference, and so you can reach us at dubrow.russo
R-U-Z-Z-O
at gmail.com, and mine's D-U-B-R-O-W, and you can find that address underneath the video. There's a section where we can describe the videos that you're watching, and our email address is there.
And we really, really, really would like you to join us, because we would like our oneness to include more.
The other reason for me is having new people is going to mean that I'm showing up fresh in this moment. Mm-hmm. You and I have talked often enough, and I know you'll go off in a tangent, or I will, and there's a dance that we do that's familiar, right, that isn't as edgy, because we know that there's something about adding another person or persons to the mix that takes us on a different, different journey.
I'd just like to know more people.
There you go. Well, thank you.
Bye. Thanks for watching.
Bye now.